Lagos lawmakers meet minds with stakeholders in the education sector on bill for a law to provide for the promotion and preservation of the Yoruba language in schools across the state. As Lagos marks 50th anniversary, lawmakers say its success story is not complete without the legislature's numerous contributions. Plus, Lagos Assembly plans one-day special session to mark the Lagos State Golden Jubilee Age. We have details coming up. A warm welcome to you out there. It's always a delight to have you join us on Lagos Parliament, the program that brings the legislators closer to the people. I'm your regular host, Abimbola Agbebi.
Get closer to your legislators. See them in action as they deliberate on moving the state forward. Watch updates on weekly events, presentation of bills, passage of laws, adoption of resolutions, and many more. Also, get a chance to meet the lawmaker of the week and watch the legislators observe plenary in Yoruba language. Lagos Parliament, every Thursday 7:30 p.m. and Sunday 11 a.m. respectively on TVC News Nigeria and TVC Entertainment. Lagos Parliament, bringing the legislators closer to you.
Welcome back. The Lagos State House of Assembly is stopping at nothing in its desire to preserve the use of the Yoruba language across the state. This became evident during a one-day public hearing on a bill for a law to provide for the use of the Yoruba language across the state. The journey towards the preservation of Yoruba culture started on the 5th of February 2016. Where its first summit on the need to make the teaching and learning of Yoruba language a compulsory subject across public, private, primary and secondary school was held.
It is well known that it's an official language, but it's not well used. And this is the idea behind it. We are looking forward to make a law that will be acceptable to everybody, both public schools, private schools, everybody. And that is the idea.
The legislature has taken a step further by making its intention a law. It is proposing compulsory teaching and learning of the language across schools in the state. It also proposed the language as the compulsory entry requirement in the state tertiary institutions with penalties spelled out for non-compliance.
For a law that is as critical as this, to ensure that our language does not go into extinction and to ensure that it is a way of also preserving our cultural values and ethos, I think that this law will become sacrosanct once it is passed, and the House will follow up. Let me say that this is just the first leg. This public hearing is the first leg. You heard the Right Honourable Speaker saying that the Education Committee has been mandated to go all through the entire state, district by district, to also confer and interface with proprietors of private schools and all heads of public schools to make sure that we make them know what the House is doing and what we intend to do, as a way of ensuring that, of course, ignorance cannot be it can't be an excuse in law for everybody to be on the same page in our quest. And once we are able to achieve that second leg to it, then there will be no issue of non-compliance. Anybody who does not comply is simply breaking the law and will be ready to face the full wrath of the law. Simple.
Just before it becomes a law, the lawmakers have decided to engage stakeholders who have highlighted a few challenges that should be addressed.
We need to establish ourselves. We shouldn't be shy about our own culture. We have to tell the whole world that we are proud and we have dignity as Yorubas.
This law we have our own draft. We have looked at it. We have our own draft, which are going to, in both English and Yoruba version, and we have made it to be 8 sections. Lagos State has a right to make laws, and education is a concurrent list. But we know that federal government also has a say in this matter, and for most entry requirements, we need 5 credits. And that 5 credits, it has been specified in NUC requirement for most courses. For example, you want to do medicine. You need English, you need mathematics, you need physics, chemistry, biology. You want to do medicine, you need English, mathematics, physics, chemistry, maybe geography or whatever. They have stated it for all courses. So by the time Yoruba should be added, Yoruba will be 6-1 for most of these courses. So that one, there's a small problem, or let me say a big problem. And the issue of choice is equally there.
Àkíyèsí tèmi ṣe ò ní pé ó yẹ kó jẹ́ pé bíi pẹlẹbẹ láti mọ́ ọ̀lẹ́jẹ̀. Tá a bá kọ bí ara sí àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ iléèwé alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀, ó dàbí ẹni pé yóò le díẹ̀ o.
Àkíyèsí kìíní ò ní pé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó yìí a ní tó móhùnmáwòrán tó lé ní 12. Mélòó nínú wọn ni wọ́n ń ṣe ètò Yorùbá lẹ́yìn sinimá? Ìyẹn ní olùpolówó mélòó ni wọ́n ń gbé ìpolówó wọn wá sí orí ètò Yorùbá? Ìyẹn jì. Èmi gbà wípé ẹrù wa ó ti wọ́ láti ilẹ̀. Nígbà tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé ilé ẹ̀kọ́ ò ní ká ti máa kọ́ àwọn ọmọ. Kí ni ojúṣe àwa ìyá nínú ilé tí a fi lè máa kọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa ní èdè abínibí? Nítorí pé àwa gangan la súnmọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa jù pẹ́kípẹ́kí.
Private school, they need to actually put a sort of X-ray light or a beam light to ensure that this law, they actually implement it. They have a way of circumventing or maybe to try to play pranks.
We parents, we mothers, that's why I advocate for mothers to be teaching Yoruba language to their children, first of all from home, then the school will now take over. Or whatever they teach them in school, we can reinforce when they go back home. Teaching them their assignments in Yoruba, it will go a long way in making them to know whatever subjects that they're having challenges in. For example, my own daughter, she has challenges in Yoruba. That was the day she brought home a profit and loss. I told her, okay, profit, oni pe kashowo ka jere. Loss, ni pe kashowo ka short. By the time I taught her profit and loss in Yoruba, she got to school and she made the whole, she got the whole mark for the next day. So if we can be teaching our children in Yoruba language, it will go a long way, even from home. Then the second point I raised was, we have so many television stations in Lagos State. Only 1 or 2 are doing Yoruba programs. Others is only cinema or Owambe. Is that all we are noted for in Yoruba land? When we talk about medicine, when we talk about health, when we talk about education, Yorubas are there. We are trailblazers.
In spite of the issues raised, participants remain optimistic on the workability of the law.
It will work because it will enable us to communicate with one another in order to explain the values we have in Yoruba language from the younger ones to the older ones.
The House has also mandated its Committee on Education to spread the message across the local government areas in the state. As Lagos marks 50 years of existence, lawmakers in the Lagos State House of Assembly say the success story cannot be complete without the contributions made by the House in the last 50 years. Let's go to the floor of the House and see what the lawmakers have to say about the legislature's contributions towards its success story. It was a session set aside for reflections on Lagos in the last 50 years. One after the other, the lawmakers talked about how Lagos has fared since it came into existence and principally the contributions made by the legislative arm of government through its laws aimed at achieving the success story Lagos now celebrates.
You cannot celebrate bad road, you cannot celebrate bad infrastructure, no bridge, no good schools and hospitals. We are celebrating today because we have something to show for it.
Mr. Akinwumi Ambode has emphasized a tripod for his government, the first of which is security, the second of which is infrastructure, and the third of which is job creation. For security, this House passed a very important law, the Security Trust Fund Law, which is to back up the efforts of the police, which cannot adequately police Lagos.
Lagos State was one of the dirtiest cities in the world. At that very time, everywhere in Lagos State is a dumping ground. But Loma was established. It was established by the Lagos State House of Assembly. It's this very law that translates to the cleanness of Lagos State.
The growing population of Lagos has placed lots of demands on its roads, with its resultant effect as seen in outright breakdown of law and order, as displayed by some road users. The lawmakers said the road traffic law passed by the House has made a lot of difference.
I thought Honorable Issou will start from the traffic law that was enacted from this House, that has really created a lot of impact and saved a lot of lives. And the statistics shows when the Okada was banned from the major roads, that in Gbobi and all other orthopedic hospitals, that there was a drastic reduction in the number of patients they are having there.
We have a lot of laws we have enacted in this house that impacted positively on the lives of the people. Let's look at our committee has to pretend over. From a budget of less than 200 billion to over 812 billion naira now. It means if this House has not really supported and passed that great budget, at different times, budget of great leap, at different times for reformation, for consolidation, different names, but today it's over 812 billion. Any development we are talking about today, if it is not budgeted for, obviously it will not happen. So the development we are talking about in Lagos emanated from this House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. There is a saying that we should blow our trumpet. And I add to it that if you do not blow your trumpet, it will get rusty. The Lagos State House of Assembly, under the leadership of our own Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, when I talk about Lagos at 50, I think about that. I've been in the House since 2003. I've worked with 2 other speakers. And Mr. Speaker, let me tell you today that you have surpassed them all. You are somebody that has actually made the institution within this short period even more desirable for other people to want to join us. You know, people will say that if you vote in foolish people, you get foolish laws, and those are the laws that will govern you. But when you vote in reasonable people, people of honor, people of wisdom, then you get laws that will actually benefit the people of Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, they've spoken about some of the laws that have been passed in this House, particularly the private member bill, which you have actually been able to sponsor 2 of them. Some of us are still on 1, but you've been able to do 2, even though you are sitting on that seat. I must commend you. The laws are good. The laws are good. We know that even like my colleague, Honorable Muyiwa Jimo has rightly pointed out, even the courts have pronounced that our laws that will stand this test of time.
We've had it so good, right from the first legislative year when we have Oladosu Oshinowo, and when we had Oladimeji Longe for the second one, and the 3rd legislative year, we have Engineer Abayomi Kiyomi. 4th one, we have Dr. Olorunibe Mamora. And the 5th, we have Joko Tola Pelumi. The 6th and 7th witnessed the tenureship of Adeyemi Kuforiji. The 8th one, by special grace of Almighty Allah, will end well. I congratulate you because Lagos State had witnessed a lot of improvement. The legislators have really contributed immensely towards the growth of Lagos State. Is it the enactment of law that we'll talk about, or is it the proactiveness of the various laws that we have passed on this House that we'll talk about? Mr. Speaker, sir, I congratulate you because before the issue of kidnapping was brought to the fore, this august body had promulgated, made a law on kidnapping law. Before we had security problem in Lagos State, we had security trust fund law, detour to traffic that we had. Mr. Speaker, sir, we can say that this house has really contributed immensely.
Lagos State, like everybody knows, will be 50 on May 27th. I think that we have great cause for celebration. If we look back from where we were coming from and where we are now, as the numero uno state in the federation, let me say that the Lagos State House of Assembly has been the enabler, being able to allow the executive to function properly. Let me say we have also been policy initiators, because here we've seen so many private members that have been able to impact positively on the lives of our people. My colleagues, they've mentioned some of those laws. Some have said domestic violence law, some said anti-kidnapping law, Lagos neighborhood safety call law, all and all. Those are some of the policy we initiate from this great assembly. Kudos to all the initiators. Let me also say that we have also been good responder. We've responded positively to the legitimate request of the executive, and we've assisted. We've also passed the budget in record time before, through your directive, before December 31st. We've always done all of this, and then the state has been functioning properly. Let me also say that I must thank my colleagues and the Honorable Speaker, that we've also found a balance between supercilious oversight function and brazen executive excesses. We've also found a balance. Let me also say that, Mr. Speaker, sir, that you've also been able to say that we've developed synergy with the executive, so that our state has been functioning properly for the benefit of law, of everybody. That we have also collaborated. We've also done all we need to do. For doing all of this, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I have both implicit and implicit confidence in your leadership, and also the contribution of my colleagues for taking us this far.
If you look at it critically, the local government started with the 5 local government, 8 moved from 5 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 23 before the cessation of the democratic system of government during the time of military junta. Later referred back to 20 local government. And during the Jagaban of the Federation created the additional 37 SCDA. And as of today, if you look at it, the numbers of people that enjoy the local government as head of department and a political officer, that's 102 office holders. Apart from that, if you look at what we are enjoying today, we have oracles, and the salary and the staff of the Lagos State, you can quantify them in terms of how many staff you have in Lagos State based on the law that I've made in Lagos State. And apart from that, we also have the Wi-Fi that just mentioned just of recent, last week precisely. You can go to anywhere, browse. We want to levelize ourselves with the others advancing countries. And apart from that, we also have what is called e-activities in terms of e-CFO, e-payment, e-receipt, and e-billing. This will reduce fraudulent act in Lagos State. And that is why we bring up to the 30 billion naira we have generated on a monthly basis today.
To be able to witness this auspicious occasion of the 50th anniversary of Lagos State, the state of aquatic splendor, the center of excellence. We can say Lagos is God's own state in Nigeria, because in spite of all these tribulations, in spite of all the desertion and all those contrivances by some people to undermine Lagos, Lagos continues to strive and works even stronger. In elementary government, we know there are 3 arms of government, and there is separation of powers at these levels of government. But then there's also fusion of power. The powers must operate separately. Yes, they must interdepend and interrelate with one another. The elementary functions of legislation, representation, legitimization, appropriation, and all of that have helped in no small measure to shape the way Lagos is today. When the oversight functions of Lagos State Assembly, bringing to the fore issues that are critical, that are concurrent and are contemporaneous with the existence of Lagosians, we bring these issues forward and we have robust debates on them. And those things have helped in no small measure to shape the way the government of Lagos is thinking. And the forward-looking, the diligent, the intelligent governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, has always, most of the time, akin to the call of these hallowed chambers to shape the affairs of Lagosians. So we should thank God that this House of Assembly has been a major contributor into the way things are run in Lagos.
And while summing up the members' views, the Speaker of the House noted that the legislature has been able to establish a cordial relationship between the three arms of government in the state, among several other feats. The House concluded that the success story of Lagos cannot be well told without its immense contributions being highlighted. And still staying on the celebration of Lagos as it clocks 50, the Lagos State House of Assembly has dedicated a day to celebrate the state's Golden Jubilee in a very historic way. On Monday, the 22nd of May 2017, scholars within and beyond the shores of Nigeria have been invited to speak on issues that have to do with governance and the economy. Eminent personalities such as the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are expected to grace the occasion as they take a look at how Lagos has fared in its 50 years of existence.
By grace of God, the special parliamentary session will come up next Monday. I'm sure we are going to be ready, and our guest speakers are also well prepared to feed us and to inform our people how important legislature is. We should continue to be selfless. We should continue to think about our people, and we should continue to perform the ADR we have been doing.
I have the mandate of Mr. Speaker to remind you all of the programs listed for continuing celebration of Lagos at 50 this week, which calls for our attention and attendance. Consequently, I have the approval, Mr. Speaker, to move that this House adjourns from today till Monday, the 22nd day of May at 12 o'clock, and reminding you also that that is the day for the special parliamentary. I so move.
Adjourn till Monday, 22nd May 2017 at 11 a.m. prompt. I rise.
Well, the special session is in commemoration of Lagos at 50. We are sitting with our representatives at the National Assembly, our senators and our members at the House of Representatives will come to Lagos State Assembly to talk about Lagos. We also have invited very notable Nigerians and even people from the diaspora and international communities. We have invited a guest speaker from Kenya. We have also invited the great Asiwaju of Lagos, Asiwaju of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, national leader of the APC. We have invited him to join us for a keynote address. Because Lagos at 50 is significant, and people, unarguably, Asiwaju is the architect of modern Lagos. The template of Asiwaju is what is being used according to the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, even at the National Assembly, at the national by the federal government. She said it was the template of Asiwaju that they put in Ogun State to use in Ogun State, and which she's even still using in Abuja. So Asiwaju's template for Lagos. Also, the creation of SCDAs and local governments by Asiwaju when he was local government, when he was state governor of Lagos State, had been bought into by several other states. So many things that Asiwaju did when he was governor of Lagos State, so many roadmaps that he drew when he was governor of Lagos State, are now being followed by various state governments and even the federal government of Nigeria. So when we thank God for the gift of life of Asiwaju, and that is still around, and is still agile and active, he will be able to give us a kind of a peep into the way his mind is working and what further developments it can profile for Lagos.
Good governance that we're experiencing today cannot be separated from the commitment, dedication to duty, and uprightness of the parliament. Lagos Parliament has been adjudged as one of the best parliaments in the country, and we have prized ourselves as an house above the common standard of excellence. By so doing, we are putting in extra work, extra time to ensure that the feelings, the yearning, the need of our people is articulated and is presented before the government. Don't forget that this parliament started constituency engagement projects where the house, we move around the local government and the LCDA, the constituencies, 40 constituency, harmonize their yearnings, their needs, put it together as a form of a compendium, and sending it to the executive for implementations. So the parliament has been working very hard. Then if you look at what we call representations, you discover that the parliament have been doing a very, very wonderful job. And when it comes to bills, private member bills, executive bills, or individual bills, when you send it, it is the parliament that will scrutinize it, sieve it, come out with a bill that can stand the test of time, that will not be sanctional, that will not affect members of the public negatively. You discover that parliaments have been doing a wonderful job. And looking at what we call separation of power, like they will say power corrupt, absolute power corrupt, absolutely. If the law did not allow for check and balance, there's tendency for parliaments to turn men to women. And in some cases, if some of the executives, we have good one in Lagos State anyway, but there are some executives elsewhere that want to arrogate the power to execute government projects and to even pass law to themselves. So if there were no element of check and balance as provided for in the Constitution, the parliament will not be able to. So celebrating 50 years of creation of Lagos State, and with the parliament having a special session, I think is a welcome development. It shows clearly that we are partner in progress.
And with that, it's a wrap on this week's episode of Lagos Parliament. We thank you for staying with us. Till I come your way again next week, I am Abimbola Agbebi.